Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about playing video games and streaming on the internet. My name is Crunky.
I'm the Sunny D.
Hey D, what's going on?
I just got done with working, so I'm excited that I'm done.
Hey, what else did you just get done with?
Ooh, I just got done with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's not what I was talking about, but I'm glad to hear that.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Did you happen to watch the little Nintendo drop today?
Yes, the Hyrule Warriors, the Age Calamity.
Yes, that was a big surprise announcement today that I thought, you know what, Dee and I should have a reaction audio video about this. So we're going to put this up on the podcast and the YouTube channel. If you guys aren't aware, the podcast also has a video feed at YouTube/Crunky. So go hit us up there. But what is your first impression of this video, Dee?
Oh, it looks amazing. I'm super excited because you actually get to see the whole story. I love Breath of the Wild, but you have to go find all the little memories to figure out what exactly happened.
Right.
So you actually get the whole story at once, and I'm very excited about that.
Well, I mean, I think it's important for us to keep our expectations in check and share that the video that we watch has a lot of cool video footage and stuff, but it doesn't actually show the story part. So I think like me, you're probably jumping to the conclusion that it's like the last Hyrule Warriors, that there is a narrative between all the battles and things.
That's true. I guess I shouldn't just jump to that.
Well, and they did say that they're going to tell a bit of what happened during the Age of Calamity, but I mean, okay, if you've not played Breath of the Wild yet, guys, then you've yielded all rights to say spoilers, because this is basically a prequel story to that shows what happened when Ganon became unleashed and became the flying ghost pig that flies around the castle at the beginning of Breath of the Wild. It shows him coming out of the still pristine castle in the trailer for this Hyrule Warriors. But let's talk a little bit about, for those of you guys who haven't ever played a Hyrule Warriors game before, or even a Dynasty Warriors, which is basically Koei Tecmo, the company the dev team that makes these games. You are one of a handful of characters, and there's been like 1,000 of these released over the years. I remember friends playing it on PS2, and it probably exists long before that, but you basically are a warrior fighting just waves and waves and waves of army. And in Hyrule Warriors, did you play much of that one?
Yes, I played a bunch of it. Actually, I played some of it with you too. We did some of the multiplayer.
That's right, we did. So basically, you get a map, and there's some like loose story going on that tells you, okay, you need to go to this gate and take that keep, and you just wave through enemies. And the Hyrule Warriors, especially on the Wii U, and I think the definitive edition came to the Switch, allowed you to like play as several different Zelda characters, and I'm hoping we get to do the same in the new one. I think we saw the 4 main characters of the DLC. What were those guys called in Breath of the Wild? They weren't sages in this one. They were something else. Champions.
I think they were champions.
Yeah, the champions. Because and you get to play the Zora, the
Goron.
The Goron. What are they called? The something Tundra. The champions are. We knew about Mipha. She was the Zora princess, right?
Yes.
The Zora champion. Daruk, who is the Goron champion. And Urbosa, that's her name. The Gerudo champion. And then I said Rito, but it's Rivali. Rito is the race. Rivali is the character. Sorry, it's been a minute since I played these guys.
That's for sure.
You get to play as these characters. I saw you being I saw in the video them playing as Zelda and Link. Did you notice any other people you're playing as? I know in the past you've been able to play as some of the more
I didn't notice any of the other ones.
Okay.
I noticed champions and Zelda and Link, but I didn't see any of the other ones or noticed any other ones. I've only watched it once, guys.
Yeah, this is a really early reaction, but they showed the giant battle scenes with all the guardians crawling everywhere. They showed You know, tons of the overworld monsters that we knew, the orcs and the goblins and what do they call them, macablins, I
The
think.
Macablins, yeah.
Yeah, they showed the king
Yes.
there, and like some of the skeleton guys, and what's the race of the assassins, the that you fight against the whole Breath of the Wild. You know, they would show up as like regular townsmen, and then they'd discover you, and you'd fight them.
Yeah, they'd ambush you pretty
Yeah,
much.
they showed a big one of those fighting, and for some reason they showed like the giant walking dungeons that were from this game. So that's going to be interesting if those make a return in any sizable way. They showed the giant cyclopses that you fight. The action scenes that they showed, I don't know if they're all story based or if they're from the actual in-game gameplay. But man, this is unusual because the last game was just shoehorn trope. They did make a story that was actually pretty provocative. Dee and I were laughing about it earlier. I'm like, do you remember like the absolute like scantily clad babe that they put in as the villain in the last one?
Yes, I do.
Because she was supposed to be like basically spoilers for the last Hyrule Warriors. There's a gal who means the story got split into two, like a pure version and like a malevolent evil version that was hot for Link, and she was basically show up in like a bikini trying to fight Link half the time, and it was hilarious. And then they don't tell you that it's the same person until halfway through. You kind of put it together, but it's not Breath of the Wild 2. It's not going to play anything like Breath of the Wild. I think it's really important for people who've never played Hyrule Warriors to understand that you are not going to get a big open world to go explore. It's going to be and this is my presumption. It's going to be stages that you have to go through and solve, interstitialed with, story beats, which I'm okay with. One thing, I think Dee and I, we talked about this when Hyrule Warriors, or then Breath of the Wild came out, is that I was a little bit let down that it focused so much on open world that it didn't have a lot of room for story.
I agree. I completely agree with that. I mean, it's an amazing experience. It's so different than just the normal Zeldas that you go through. But yeah, I did miss a lot of that story that you would get.
Right. And you did piece it together, like you said, through the flashbacks. But imagine a flashback story between every level, and there's tons of levels, because Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U and the Switch had tons of unlockable paths and like a weapon building system and upgrade paths that you'd have in a decent adventure game. And I think some of those hooks are going to be welcome change, and all set in because it looks exactly like Breath of the Wild. They clearly got the assets and the art to use from Nintendo. I mean, it starts off with Aonuma talking about how impressed he was with how well the Koei Tecmo understands Legend of Zelda, and they basically handed them the reins to, okay, you tell this story that we just kind of hinted to. And I think that more than anything is the most exciting piece to me, is that we get to see more of the story in a fun gameplay loop. But I think the big trap here is people who've not played Hyrule Warriors going into it expecting, oh, more Breath of the Wild. And the biggest news of it comes out on November 20th.
I know. I was really surprised about that, because we haven't heard anything about Breath of the Wild 2 for a while now. So I think it's a great kind of a little bit placement before that we can kind of, get our hands on and play that until hopefully we get Breath of the Wild 2 next year, I hope.
Exactly. I think the assassin ninja types that I was talking about are called the Yiga clan, Yiga.
Yes, that's it.
For those of you guys who are yelling at us, going, "What, you guys don't know the name of that?" It's been just a minute. But yeah, November's, sure, it's 2 months away, but it's not that far away. Not as far away as Breath of the Wild 2 is probably going to be, right?
Right, exactly. Because I would say maybe like hopefully early next year that, we'll get it, but you never know. But yeah, I'm really excited, especially since it's going to be in that art style. I have a feeling it's going to be very fluid. So that's going to be great.
That's one thing I'll say. They did have Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS, but it was not a great experience because the system could barely run the 3D engine. But on the Switch, the original Hyrule Warriors, which I don't even know how much it costs in the eShop right now, but it's probably still $60. But it is actually a fun game to play, and they even made a the Fire Emblem Warriors game was pretty. I played it for just a little bitty bit because I liked the Dynasty Warriors games, but I think Hyrule Warriors fits the formula way better. They did adapt it slightly for Fire Emblem, but not enough to make me continue to play. I guess because I wasn't invested. I'm easily invested in a Hyrule story because I love Zelda, right?
Exactly. And what I loved about, if just so you guys know, you might want to try to give Hyrule Warriors a chance because you got to play so many different characters. I mean, you got to play Midna, Impa, in the first Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, it's like the entire Zelda canon is in there.
Yes.
And they weave this like not time traveling story, but kind of like interdimensional story. And maybe there is time traveling. It's been about a year since I played it, maybe 2, but I remember it being very exciting to like not like from a story standpoint. I think this one's going to be this new one for Age of Calamity is going to be way more story focused, where the original was like more of a celebration of the entire catalog because like Dee said, you could play through it with everybody. Like they even made Linkle, which was the female version of Link you could play as several areas, and that was just kind of a neat nod to a what if Link was a girl instead,
Exactly. I mean, you can even play it with Ganondorf.
Yeah, you can play as Ganondorf now that I forgot. Yeah, just whip a whole bunch of ass.
Exactly. And then, that's what I thought was kind of fun about it. You go through just all this action all of a sudden, and then you get just a little story scene. And then here you go on to the next just huge battle. And it was, people who might not want all sometimes you get wrapped up too much in the open world. If you just want okay, this is your level, let's go through it and, get that story part, go on to the next. I kind of enjoyed that kind of
being
on the rails a little bit.
You're talking about me right now, right?
No, that's
someone
who, these days.
Someone who loves, where's the objective? Just point me at it. That's hard because especially Breath of the Wild, because I love that game, but there's sometimes I'm like, when I go back to it after a few days, I'm like, I don't remember what I was doing.
Exactly.
Where was I going? What was I supposed to be doing here? But yeah, I do you worry that with its focus on more story in Age of Calamity that they're gonna be able to not be able to include all the cross-generational stuff, or do you think they won't worry about that? Because if you want that, go play the other one.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to worry about that with this one because they already did it with the last one. I mean, you could play a whole bunch of people in the last one, so I think they're just going to concentrate on that story. That's why I got a feeling about. Yeah,
that makes sense. They definitely have been Nintendo. I'm speaking about specifically have been a little. Between this and, Cadence of Hyrule and the last Hyrule Warriors, they're kind of really handing some of the reins over to some other developers for this stuff.
Oh, and we've got some great things that, that had come from that. And hopefully they keep on doing that. It would be great.
Yeah, it's funny because you always hear criticism of Nintendo of they just keep releasing the same things over and over and over again, but they also can never release enough on time for most of their fans.
Exactly.
A big criticism of them is, where's my next Hyrule game or where's my next Zelda game? So I think this kind of stuff is going to be welcome, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. But
oh yeah, I'll definitely give it a go for sure.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep too much time. This is going to be a shorter episode than normal. This is just a reactionary vid, so. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Dee, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, you guys can find me on Twitch. I do stream once in a while. I'm the Sunny Dee, it's Dee. And then I'm also on Twitter at the Sunny Dee.
All right, guys, make sure you go check her out, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.